Talking to the nature. Do you believe is it really possible to talk with the nature, with a stone, with an animal, with a tree, or with a plant? If you are here, it's because you already know the answer. It is not necessary for me to tell you. You know it, you feel it. What I'm going to develop it's based on the knowledge I have. Yes, it's possible. Because inside the stone, there is an elemental being. Animals can also talk with them. I had the experience of talking, of feeling some animals that they speak with me. It is not the same as in the movies, but you feel it with intuition. Tell you things. The same with the plants. In a very basic, very simple language, they tell you what they really need. I have felt plants tell me, move it to another place when I'm thirsty. Or plants, they are in the street and tell me I feel heat because they spend a lot of time without receiving water. Water is alive. It can be programmed. Phrases can be said, decreased, and can be blessed. There are studies by Masaru Emoto where they show the water in which Somara played classical music. It is treated with love. Then we'll see under the microscope its geometry forms are perfect, beautiful. And this is the same water is played with heavy, distorted music. They put a simple level on a glass where there are the words like hate, war, and entire geometry structure is the form. Its sacred geometry is the form. Do you know why? It's because it's alive, and we communicate with it. The reason for this video is because for the day of the equinox, I usually perform rituals, offering to thank to the earth that I do not lack shelter, food, or water. So these are the few occasions in which I offer it to her, to the mother nature. The earth like wine, likes milk, sweet and salty things like sugar. It's come from her breast, it's come from her creation, it's come from her womb, from her love. So these are those days in which some people who are consciousness recognize that work, that effort, and she makes us and give it back. Yesterday, I believe that is I going to make an offering to her, and I ended up going and sitting under a tree that I have visited for years, and which after surely more than of 2 years of visiting, that is of sitting under its shade, of sharing my time with it, is communicating with me and began to speak to me and give me advice and tell me things. This communication I had established for a long time, but we also speak a very little. Instead, yesterday, when I go to make this tribute, this offering to the Mother Nature, yesterday I have a very long conversation, and it ended up making me understand that is what she was lead to me to eat. The mother sent me to this tree. For what? To give you a message. And this message from whom? From you, from the humanity. So next I'm going to tell you once I spoke with her what she talked about with this tree and what are things that told me, and that's You have them at your disposal. To being, I tell you that they are connected and communicate under the earth. It does not matter that the tree is on a meters or kilometers away. They are connected through the earth and know the situation of each one and have conversation. They talk among themselves. I have the doubt. If there is some tree that is thirsty, that lacks of water, and asked, "Do you send it water?" And it confirmed me that they do not send water through the earth, but they do send energy. They send it energy so that it can sustain itself and among all they help each other. It's also commented to me, for example, a doubt that I had about sunspots. Why don't to sun generate spot on me now I started to taking it? And explaining to me that is because the physical body is not prepared for this level of vibrations. There are levels of energy that vibrate at different levels. So, in the areas where impact from the first time these spots as generated, and also took me to opportunity to ask, it's why now I take the sun, I have many more moles. I have no interest to looking up for a Google or listener, let's say, to a traditional medicine or doctors can explain me why this is generated. I simply wanted to hear from it, from someone with wisdom. So, it's confirmed to me that the moles are the first point of impact of the sun rays through which it enters, similar to a needle. When they put a needle in your body, a small point remains. Those are the moles, the point of impact of this level of great vibrations. Trees and plants have names. They have their age. They have a lot of age. The tree I visit is more than 300 years old. They see and hear everything because many people approach and have conversation, share time with it. That is, they stand under a shade and talk, interest, and they observe everything. Another very important and very particular things that offering that I brought for the nature, I ended up sharing with it and ended up discovering that it had the taste like a human beings. So I asked it, do you eat human food? That is the crumbs that fall from something you are one eat, and it confirmed to me that yes, and they are really like human food. It's all plants, the trees that are young we consume sweets. They really like sweets. And when they are already big, already ancient, they are really like the salty things. It's also asking about the food that is defined as a junk food. This is a very little energy. If they also feed on that, and it told me something very particular. Although it's not nourishment, it's only food because they are a big difference. It told me that it's the sun that helps them the transmutation and convert into a real energy. So I was left with a doubt. If the sun helps the nature to transform that food that falls and is not really useful as energy and the sun converts it, what's happened with human beings? And it confirmed to me that human beings, if we consume, let's say, junk food, it can be converted into energy by taking the sun. And I also say it, how is it possible that this actually does not happen? And it answered me that the human being does not have the habit of taking sun, and that is very true. It's also confirmed something to me, which is a doubt that I had, is that when we take the sun, we are receiving codes, geometry codes. That is, if they are updated an application. That is why a person who takes the sun is happy, feels connected, and a person who don't take the sun begins to become depressed because that feeling is disconnection generated. Also, a very particular thing that precisely the first time is spoken to me once wanted to have it, and it told me clearly, with that symbol of death, do not place your hands on me. It was very scary because it was the first time it communicated with me. And what was about is really like rings, yes? I used them. And at that time, I had a one with the skull. So, told me and explained me to that those symbols of death, they are really not innocent. So I asked, remembering this episode, I say it, and if they really have a low vibration, why are they still used? Why are they used so much? And it told me something that seemed me as spectacular to me. It said, the human being is a living an experiment, and part of that experiment is to interact with these symbols that are forbidden in reference to that they should be, and see how far, what they do, how they use them, how far they take them, what is happening with that. Another things to take into account very important is that when I was returning to my home, we will still maintaining the conversation, is keep answering me the question that I had. Of course, I use my mental plane. If you know it, we use it. Through that, I spoke with it. And I asked how it's possible that we continue maintaining this conversation if not only I already move away, but I don't have, let's say, my feet on the earth. We are not connected by something physical. And it told me something very beautiful, which is we are all governed by Gaia. Gaia is the name of the Mother Nature. In some regions of the world, we call her Pachamama. We are all governed by her, and that's a lot of that level of connection. Also, another way, very important things that we talk about the fact that although we can place on feet on the earth, they can transmute the energy. They take away negative energy. Also, the simple fact being near to trees or seeing the degree of the nature help us therapeutically. This indeed, I don't know it at the moment. I also mentioned that it told me at that moment I was on the presence of being from another dimension that were accompanying me, and it made me remember that when I go to the nature, I usually walk them to they present themselves and feel their company. That is, the nature has the capacity to see beings from another dimension of different vibration. That's we with our natural perception do not see. They see and perceive it. So yesterday I told me that they were present. Amongst the many things we talk about and explained, to me about the Druids. Who are the Druids? The Druids are people instructed in ancient times to the Celts, of the Viking, of a very ancient times. It's also come from Avalon. For example, Merlin. I do not know if many know about Merlin. It's not an history. Merlin lived in England and was, let's say, the one is prepared the King Arthur. These characters did really exist. Merlin was a druid connected with nature, as I did the same way that I'm doing with the mental plane. So the druids at the time were very respected because they knew the secret and connected with nature. They are people with no matter how much they listen this will not connect. They are not yet prepared or do not have that level of vibration. That also it taught me regarding for the druids. A very important issue is also highlights the topic of their sexuality. I asked, I perceive this tree as a masculine energy, and I asked if the rose and the flowers are feminine, and it told me that by the love of gender for those who don't know it, is that the everything as a masculine and a feminine energy that can be referred to the Kundalini energy that rises through our spine, and it's called Ida and Pingala. Ida is the feminine energy and Pingala is the masculine. It's angers that by law of gender, everything has a gender, everything has a masculine and feminine energy. Some things have more toward one extreme, another toward another. So, yesterday this tree that I frequent is confirming that the flower are not feminine and the tree is not masculine. They don't have a gender, like I say, have a specific gender. And finally, to close, which seems to me very important, is the following. We, apart from this that I'm revealing to you, I have a private conversation with it where I talking many things regarding to my life. I urge to approach a tree, create a friendship and listen it, his advice, because they are very wise. They have many years, they are living many things, they know a lot. Listening for them, they give a great wisdom. And I told me something very important, which is something we talk about between us, something intimate, which I already feel it, I already confirm it, that will be very useful for you. My last question was, why me yes and others not? Why I can talk with others with this tree and others cannot? Because sometimes when I give therapy to different animals, they visit me in another planes. When I'm sleeping, they visit me on another plane and give me this message. I feel it. Until told me, in reality, out there are many people who are much more awake than what I angel, believes. But they are afraid. They are afraid to show themselves. They are afraid to be seen. They are afraid that this is real and this thing exists. Beautiful. So, this is a message for you. If you know this exists, If you experience it, do not be afraid. You have come to be great, to shine, to awaken, to transform lives, souls. Enjoy these things. Learn from these things because they can help transform many lives. And always remember that all of this is in a service of the life and for highest evolution of the human beings.